All right, interview number one with Mr. Briggs. So, Mr. Briggs, can you tell me which piece of mass media, so like film, TV show, music, video games, etc., has had the biggest influence on your perception of class? How this form of media has affected your identity and your interactions with others coinciding with class.
That's a pretty hard one because I don't really like in terms like I don't really think about class a lot in like at the very least in terms of when I'm like unless a form of media is very like it's for that, like for example Hunger Games, um where it's like clearly that's what this is about. I don't really run into class things in my media, but something that has influenced my perception of class in terms of media would probably be um TV, like TV shows or movies, um maybe some songs here or there, and how it affects my interaction with others. I think it doesn't really, uh because when it comes to interacting with everyone, I always base my interactions or my even my perception of other people based off what I'm seeing in that thing. I don't make assumptions or act on them. I guess keep it person to person basically. So not much when it comes to class.
Okay. Can you tell me what form of mass media influenced your perception of race and like how it's affected your identity and your interactions with others? Like that specific piece of media?
Mm-hmm. I say the piece of media that probably has affected my perception of race mainly would be no movies. Okay, movies because whenever I've seen movies that even have a hint of like different racial things, whether it's like that I don't know what that movie was called, but that one Disney movie from a long time ago where like the black and white girl were like friends, and that was like a plot for it. No, that like what it has done for me because I can't think of anything specific, but besides the general thing of movies. Um, what it done for me is, from my perception at least, obviously it's different from person to person, but is that everyone is they're people. There's if they internalize it, either way, it's that could show from one way to another, if bad or good, but we're all people. There are obviously different cons and pros to being different races or whatever, but for the most part, from what I've gathered from media slash my own personal experience, is that we're all people. We all have hard lives. We all have blessed lives to an extent, either or. So yeah, there's that.
Okay. Can you tell me which piece of mass media has had the biggest influence on your perception of like gender and how it's affected your identity and your interactions with others?
I feel like that one's a little easier in terms of at least my like per my perception, like what's most main that like mainly affecting my perception of gender. That definitely would probably be movies or TV shows. Wanted because I don't really come across that a lot in music and and I don't read enough books to come across it. Uh, well, yeah, with TV shows or movies, I've seen it, and my my thoughts on it in terms of like how I interact with people. It's essentially the same thing when it came to like race. Is that like it's you? I don't have any assumptions. I am cool with all. You know, as long as you're a decent person. Uh, my interaction with you will be based person to person, and so it all it's done for me in terms of how I think is that there are people also anyone like by any gender women they have their own struggles, they have a lot going on. So men, um, there's a lot about that. It's like everyone has something going on. Everyone, as long as you're a good person, my reaction, my interaction with you will be, it will reflect that. Me thinking you're a good person. So, yeah, media, when it comes to gender, has done like, hey, they're still a person, no matter how they present or what they are. They're still a person. So just interact with them like they're a person. If they're a bad person, interact with them like that. If they're a good person, interact with them like that. So yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hate you. I hate you. I hate you.